First of all, I gotta start off by saying the same thing I say all the time. I just gotta be thankful to God. Uh, I'm listening to these perps. Oh, the sad low life that they are. I'm going through horrible things, right? I expect only but the foulness happened to me. That's what they've been saying, and I do believe it. Especially the level of embarrassment and humiliating reality I've been keep putting them in their face. I mean, at this point, they just tell me how I'm gonna be shared, raped, and tortured, and this. I'm like, listen, you are not making me envious of your life. If I could record how these people sound, some of them look like it would take maybe a second to push them to a suicide state of mind. The perps that live here and are participating, some of them are so fragile, unstable, and childlike. It's scary. And they tell me they're the one who gonna frame me. I'm like, these people, better get the best psychiatrist for these people. They're already shaky. They're already not some stable looking people. And then, they try to use this. I guess I think like this woman said, this void. They have some of them sound like this gives them this empowerment feeling. They feel like they belong somewhere. They feel special. I can hear them talking the way they've been groomed to talk. Try to repeat the way they try to sound agitating. With me, I'm like, for all these perps participating, I hope that you continuously live this life. And I hope that you continue to hear these people talking. Because if you are relying your conscience onto these people, you're effed. Listen to this person. Whatever torture I'm going to go through, I can reassure you, I'd rather be a bottom, I'd rather be a bum, but this person is not going to last. And when I mean last, I mean things are not going to go well with her in her life. I can tell you, based on her voice, I'm not a prophet. I mean, some of the things are just so obvious, and they dumb themselves down so much that they really make you feel so special. You hear the noise campaign. It's been like that throughout the whole day. Because this bad things are going to happen to me soon, I guess. And so they really want to create that fantasy before it happens. Because they know that the second this ends with me, reality is, if not already hit, it will hit in some ways that's so foul. I mean, right now, there's some perp involved in my targeting. She's going through things. I'm like, how you even... Like, shouldn't you focus on certain things? Wouldn't you, like, this is how you're gonna dedicate your time? Who knows how long you have on this earth? I'm sure you're gonna be okay, but I'm just saying, like, this is a possibility. You're more close to that reality than this bottom feels. These are children. They don't understand. They think death is only happens to others. You're here really trying to make me accept these things. I mean, and the way they try to gaslight you, and they're like, oh, black girls, and then she looks at me, I'm like, really? My friend, really? And I'm looking at her. It's like, I wish you could see yourself right now. I mean, you can do all these things to distract me, but you should see yourself. And I took a picture of this person. It's like, you are escaping from reality. You're black little girls. I'm the threat to that. You think I think you guys are now manipulating my brain. That black little girls to make me react this way, the way you put these things together in my brain, make me think that's how you used to think about kids. This grown ass man, and I know what you guys do. I know what you guys have been rewind the thought. That's literally testimonies. Like, she really look. I'm like, you are a clown. Because what I do is like I put myself on mute and listen to this thing that I know they listen to. Literally say they are rewiring the thought process. This is an offensive information warfare where they literally are trying to push the target individual into killing themselves, into their death. And they are using the test subject as a test subject in regard what matrices of deceptions and trickeries are going to get the target individual into the circumstances they want them to be in. Literally, these people are very smart people. or they have the pure logic, irrationality to understand the reality of what this means. And I'm like, look at me, my friend, look at me. I'm in front of you. I can listen to that and watch you, and you'll be like you're going through all these issues, and this is really how dumb you want to make yourself be at this point in your life. Look at the clown they use. Look at the clownery they have to use. You want to stoop to these people who are clown. They even have their dog bark. The dogs start barking. They start making, these perps here are so childish. They're so obvious. But I respect them more, because they own to their stupidity. They're not trying to they are really fully committed in their dumbness. They go into, it's our trial, it's our money. Not real. While I'm listening to a testimony, it's not real. They don't torture children or women. I'm listening to the torture. Not real. I'm like, that's good. You see that? Completely, fully involved, like in that. She accepted that she has to dumb herself down. She knows this woman is talking about how these kids are dying and being tortured. But she's like, not real. That's the kind of stupidity that is, I respect that. She's accepted, I'm going to dumb myself down, and I want you to see that or hear me doing that. While these people still try to maintain this is like facade. Of course you are involved in a program that does harmful things to children. You know that very well. But you're an opportunist, so you want to go into your fantasy, and you know my brain is rewired. And it's not war. I'm just supposed to be rewired to the point where I'm accepting of these manipulations, of these changes that is happening. And it's truly a study and a development of these weapons, of these technologies, utilized as a weapon, trying to, actually reconstructing a human being, controlling a human being in ways that are so. You have these clowns here, it's a war, wearing full-on PJs. Talk about our children, and then go and have their children sit there and rape them, or some bullshit like that, some disgusting things like that. We're doing that for our children. For our children, we'll frame you with our children. This person owns this. They have accepted, they have committed, they have completely accepted the involvement of how stupid they have to be. You know the reality. Their children, I think I'm the threat to their children. The truth is they try to create that as a threat. That's what they rewire my brain. They truly want me to accept this manipulation. It's so disgusting. But to see somebody who just like looking at you, is like, oh, like, really? Okay, keep looking at me here. Boom. That's just a quirky thing that they do these things, right? And they're like, no, but you abused her, try to exaggerate what I did as a kid. I'm like, really? Don't you feel uncomfortable? So, this is what the biking is going on right now. They try to really. So, this is the threat. How dumb do you feel? It's like, no, we mapped your brain. You see what you did as a kid. When a child like that? So you want me to think this is me as a child, or this is your validation, your evidence of me as a kid at that age? Well, I have testimonies of you guys literally manipulating the brain of these women in these ways, making these women have reaction to children and have stimulations. Testimonials of mothers with the young children being used as test subject, going through the same thing I'm going through. Babies being tortured. But you involved in a program that torture children, manipulate the brain in these disgusting pedophilia ways of reacting to children, while working for governmental entities. In 2019, when I was being mapped, there was a bill created called the National Defense Network Abuse Act, meant to limit the amount of child porn these DoD employees were literally downloading, sharing, and accessing using the DoD computers. Those are the same entities doing these things. Well, you guys are now mapped it. You are literally rewiring the brain, changing me from who I am, and try to make me accept this little nasty, this black little girls, and creating this rewiring of my brain and try to make me accept. I'm like, I know black little girls. You think this is? I'll be like, normally without you guys mapping, I'll be like, oh, black little girl. But now you guys got in my brain and got the real me out of me. clown. Well, I can do this and listen to this thing just literally describing the reality and the sympathetic reality that there's perps people involved in the program that were capable to do these kind of things. As they do that, they try to counter it by any means, literally saying these things.
Designed to interact with the human nervous system in order to remotely pick up on someone's neural network or EEG, and not only receive that and monitor it, but manipulate it and place it back into the victim to control their emotions or control their actions or bodily functions for that matter. The other more recent term we have for that is EEG heterodyning or EEG cloning. The difference between EEG heterodyning and EEG cloning would be, let's say, me remotely receiving your EEG and then duplicating it and putting that in another person to give them your same thoughts or feelings or physical reactions. EEG heterodyning would be receiving your EEG, manipulating it to put it back inside your head to give us a desired physical reaction or emotional reaction.
You know, the crazy part is in 2019, 2020, it was early 2020. I started sending emails to people, media outlets, saying these things before I knew about target individual. Didn't even know anything about that, but this is how I describe what was happening to me. Does it sound familiar? Oh, and the thing they say I'm gonna pay for, this is them trying to bring up me at that age. And the sad part, that now I know these people tell me what I'm gonna pay for. These people are involved in some this is at the age which they were exaggerating what I did at this age as a child. While these people tell me that I'll pay for this, manipulating my brain, saying that they're making my brain be a child's brain, are involved in things that does this to children.
I began to experience. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "ow." I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their...
And this more sexual torture testimonials of children as young as 4 years old. These kids have Down syndrome. So I ended up in 2020, August 29, 2020, being involved in this.
And I am a victim of organized stalking, electronic harassment, microwave torture, E2K abuse, and I'm asking you to help us end this crime against humanity, which has impacted men, women, children all around the world.
Hi, I'm Wan from Malaysia. My family are targeted in your region. are victims of cyber torture. And I will not give up. I will fight to the end.
And I'm a victim of organized
We need this to stop.
electronic
That's it.
harassment.
Oh, so these people who are rewiring the brain, saying that I'm gonna pay for what I did as a child at the age you saw, are saying that now we just mapped as you as a child. We put things together that just, it's you. Something that we just rewinded you. We did something to make you think the way you could have thought in a certain way. And the humiliating part is, I'm not the only one who've been complaining of this manipulation that's disgusting. But you get validation of that nature too.
It's what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted.
I mean, literally calling it the pedophilia type of torture. Oh, it doesn't end this way only, but because in a survey, we're asking different target individuals what they experience. This is what will come up.
This is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds.
Does it get to that point, like when it's just too much? Oh, it doesn't end there. Other people are complaining about these manipulations. Listen to this transgender person who's no longer with us saying the same thing.
It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophilia. This disgusting thing. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting thing that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my
Surroundings.
surroundings or whatever it is.
I mean, how much is too much? Oh. Then you have this, which they try to counter with, because you say 4 different tactics. And the 4, so I'll remember what you did as a kid. No.
There are 4 different techniques and technologies that can pipe voices into an individual's head. And once you can do that, you can control them using neuro-linguistic programming techniques. You're rewiring their thought processes and brains. And so this gets into what's called offensive information warfare. And they want to see if they can manipulate people to do things that are irrational, but also walk them to their death. And so you can call it a eugenics program even. And they need to sample all cultures, language throughout the world to define the probability matrices of which tricks, techniques, deception works. So
I mean, it's just too much. And even the psyop, they're like, oh, it's going to be awful. We are different. We're this and that. We're anything but the same governmental entities.
Scripts. And they're meant, and I've heard all personality spies and information couriers, people that carry the V2K. So they'll say, we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government were evil aliens, were Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. And I've heard all the stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government could do this.
And that's what they always try to do, is like we're this and that, and I'm like, okay. And so today when they say black little girls were mapped, and then they said, no, it's you, remember what you did, you abused, pay. And I'm like, yo, I'm talking to people torturing children who are renowned to rewire the brain in these pedophilia ways, that rewire your brain, literally. And I'm as I say, black little girls, they even stimulate me by saying that. And you have perps of all sorts trying to look at you. I'm like, are you serious? Really? Your little black girls? Yeah. This 4-year-old Down syndrome, were they not, were they different? There's more testimonials, babies being tortured, infants. You are protecting the little black girls from me. I'm the threat. You delusional trash. You are literally rewiring my brain, but it's okay. You rely your conscience on these retards. Their specialty is lack of self-respect. Follow them after in their personal life. See how life is. Why are they willing to be so degrading to themselves? You'll get the answer easily. They feel empowered in this nastiness. It makes them feel like winners. There's nothing us test subject can do with this. We just have to endure. Because these governmental entities that happen to have this kind of issue, by the way. Oh, the Department of Defense obviously involved in this. Just in case you forget that they were trying to create.
Worked for the Defense Department. She worked on the global mapping of that system. And when I told her what I was going through, all she could say was, "You're on your own." Well, I figured that out. If you would please, I urge you to pass this. I realize you can't enforce it, but if you would pass it, it might give other communities the courage to do the same thing and show our Defense Department we are not the enemy. We are not to be attacked. We are not terrorists. Most of us are defenseless women.
The Department of Defense. And they've tried to make me feel like that, it's just, I don't care repeating things a million times. It's not going to change what's going to happen, but I'm not going to let them escape. If they ever try to have a doubt, try to think I have doubts, never. Whatever way they counter. And by the way, this Department of Defense having this kind of issues.
Has come under investigation for links to the proliferation of graphic material.
This is in 2019.
Flickr, some 5,000
this bill.
individuals have been identified as having subscriptions to child porn sites, including many DoD-affiliated persons. So this ongoing national investigation.
And by the way, there's a purpose in not real. This is as if this was not in 2019. This bill.
Stop the use of its network to, quote, possess, procure, or produce
child pornography.
Joining us to discuss this,
and why is that?
Investigative journalist Ben Swan. So Ben, the Pentagon already takes measures to limit worker access to stuff like porn by rolling out what they call the Personal Electronic Device PED policy, where workers have to drop off their phones and lockers before entering their offices. All their online searches are accessible by security if or when needed. Their Wi-Fi access is monitored in digital security sweeps. So how is this happening?
Well, it's happening because even though there is a certain amount of limitation on access, those who are working in the Department of Defense, clearly it appears to be thousands of individuals in the Department of Defense, are finding ways around this, specifically by using the Department of Defense IP addresses and also apparently peer-to-peer sharing within the department's network. So this study that was done on this issue, and it is pretty horrifying, Manila, to consider this. It shows that the Department of Defense ranked 19th out of almost 3,000 networks in terms of peer-to-peer sharing of child pornography. That is absolutely incredible. This bill intends to to essentially say, look, we're not doing enough to stop it from coming.
Okay, now this is already a lot of validation. And people are trying to gaslight you to forget this. These people are what I call perps. They are contracted by these governmental entities connected to these DOD entities that happen to have so much child porn issue. And so as they rewire my brain, and they call it, oh, we mapped it, right? These people who have this tendency of rewiring the brain in pedophilia ways. But with you, somehow, it's called mapping. And you should hear who talks this way. I mean, it's very pathetic. Like, I know I keep bringing up this picture. The truth is they're not, but this picture doesn't even show how bad it can be in regard of how clowny and childlike it can be. This is like, I would call them the more like sophisticated version. Like more, it's children that just clown. Now that's their job. They know their assignment, they know their task. They're supposed to agitate me, they're supposed to sound as childish as they can. And to counter this, but not everybody's like that. Some people still try to respect themselves. Because this is horrible what you just heard. I myself saying on TI Day 2020, this is destroying, this is impacting men, women, and children all around the world. You see me there with the mask on. It's me. Then you see a woman in Malaysia saying, me and my whole family. Then you see a bunch of women. This is what they do. I can go on. Now, these people make me feel like a prophet. The way they've been changing my memories has been consistent. I'm not a prophet. I'm not magical. What I'm saying is not genius. It's not even super wise. It's just obvious. I'm not saying things that's special. I know that. I have to remind myself of that. Just because they have dumbed themselves down, they made themselves so ignorant and so childish for the gaslighting purposes. To gaslight me. As I'm saying that, like, oh, they're gonna rape you, they're gonna do this because they tell me how I'm gonna be framed by this trash here. And by saying that, they want me to stop from saying the reality that they are damning themselves to the point that they make me appear like a freaking prophet. Because first of all, I'm not identifying. How can I say something in 2020 and today it's the exact same thing? Did I predict that this was going to happen today? No. I just say what was happening to me at the time, and it's still happening today. So when I have me saying these things in 2020, and they try to stimulate me toward the baby of a victim of a mass shooting, which is just like what I was saying when in 2021 was saying this thing about how I work at this new job, and they saying certain things to make it clear that they're participant. In 2020, I said this thing when they try to stimulate me.
Memory where you actually had that memory, but the perception.
Let me just, I don't know if you can see the dates here. The date is here below. You see 2020. You can barely see it. It's a video that I made in 2020. The specific date, October 29th, 2020. And I do this here. I say this thing.
Memory where you actually had that memory, but the perception changes in that memory. And sensations are added to it. It's nuts. It's just so weird to even try to explain something like that, because it does feel so, so abnormal. But adding sensations, feelings, perceptions of things you weren't feeling, just to also create this narrative in this persona. And this really, is just. Is to the point where you don't even want to fall for any of your memories. It's all about deception. It's
October 29th, 2020. How many videos I haven't made since about how this changed my memories and having me have this reaction and stimulation sensation that wasn't really experienced at the time, and it's only getting worse. Sometimes they try early on, my brain is still kind of stable enough to maintain a little bit of my real memories, and then try again a few months later or a year later, and then boom, that false memory completely goes in my brain, and it just completely is taken in. They're doing that right now with a woman, a young woman at the time. When I was in my early 20s, she was dating one of my best friends. I had a huge crush on her. And I was like, honestly, I was like, man, I wish I thought about her all the time. I had a huge crush on her, but she was with my best friend, not my best friend, a friend, or a friend of a friend. But down the inside, I had some deep feelings for her. So I would follow her through social media. I tried to, maybe one day, I was super shy. I get the chance to talk to her, but I was like, we will meet together, not together, but with others, but I never had the courage to say anything. I think she kind of liked me, actually. Follow her throughout, maybe hoping one day, but one day, she ended up getting pregnant, having a child. And I still follow her, because she still, to me, was somebody I was interested in, but now with a child, so it changes things. But I still follow her. She had a beautiful child, an adorable little girl, which now, they forced me to have the stimulation and reaction that they forced me to have today. This is what I would experience today if I saw this kid, this baby. Very beautiful little girl. Today, even saying that, they give me nasty reaction. To the point where oh, but why did you see this kid? Because I was interested in this woman. And so whatever in her life, I was interested in her life. And she had a beautiful girl, good for her. It's like, oh, but you saw this baby. It's like, now today, I can't look at kids because they forced me to get this reaction. But things like that to me was like wholesome. It's just today, it's just twisted in these nasty ways that I don't feel comfortable looking at children because they're going to manipulate me to experience these disgusting things. So whatever picture she has of her children, whatever, I want to know everything about her. And I have no problem looking at her kid. Okay. Beautiful girl. Oh, adorable. Today, stimulation, sensation, weird feeling that they say they mapped it to me as a child. This woman is called Kia. And now, her baby. Oh, at the time, her baby. I think now she's probably like a teenage kid. Now it's just this version of how I look at, the version of how they manipulate me to experience when I see kids. And they tried that before, earlier on, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, tried to play with my memories in this way. It didn't work well. Now they come back in my brain, and now it connects with the way they manipulate me. It's because my brain, my memories are truly phasing away. It's going to get worse. I'll get it. I'm slowly just eroding away, and it's gonna be easier for them to change me. I'm more manipulatable today, even though I have all the validation than ever that they manipulate me. I am so manipulated. It's just crazy. Thank God I have validations. Thank God. I just imagine if I was in a world where I could not get access to all this information that validated me. Today, that's why this is a 2020 video describing what I'm experiencing today in 2024. How? Is it because I'm a prophet? Absolutely not. I'm not magical. I'm not any special. I'm just saying the obvious things, which makes me special here. Makes me wise. And they have this childlike people here that try to counter reality. I'm like, okay, let your conscience be lay on this child, or be on the same page of this child. You're gonna make me look like a freaking god. Not even a god, a dignified human being. I'm not God. I'm not anywhere close to God. I'm a nothing. But I'd rather be a nothing than something like them. This trash talk about they're gonna crash me. Oh my gosh. They work for governmental entities like the Department of Defense. Talk about they're gonna crash you. My body, my bones are just literally being destroyed by this DoD technology. only a childlike person who finds strength that we're gonna crash you, as if like she's the one coming up with this technology that can destroy your whole body apart. And she's like in mood, in the character's mode there. It's like, we're gonna crush you. Kid was like, Jesus. And I'm very much aware that they can make me evaporate. This technology is just, I know the reality. I know like these bottom fears are just the nothings in this program. I've accepted reality for what it is. I know that majority of people here understand the game. We're gonna break him down and make him accept this manipulation. We can do so much to him. Earlier, before today, they made me think of how they make me experience this thing, but they're like, oh, but how come you saw this video? Because there was this random video. I don't know if I clicked accidentally on this like short video, and there was this adorable. I would watch this in a heartbeat if it was just me, but I'm not me. So it was this baby crying, and the father's like, why are you crying? And it's just very wholesome. But for me, at this point, it's disgusting. Because I'm forced to get this manipulation. Like, oh, why did you watch this video? It's like, you see? Now they even try to make me feel guilty for the things they make me experience. And it's like, well, if you know you're going to be experiencing that, if you're going to be manipulated this way, why are you even trash? My life is being rewired, manipulated, but I understand. I can't even say why me, like this child said that. And she said that in advance because she knew that my brain was going to be structured to say that. And I understand why she would be involved in this. But I can never say, why me? Because I know what they do to women. Now, I got to say, thank you, God, that I'm not this child over there talking like this, involved in this program. Because I can see why a loser like her would feel special. Being able to say something that I haven't said yet, but I'm going to say because my brain is rewired and manipulated by these people and controlled. So somebody who doesn't know what the hell's going to happen in her life, has no clue what's going on. Her life, I'm telling you, it sounds like a child that I barely can stay at home by herself. At least what it sounds like. Maybe so. Maybe I'm off. But it doesn't sound like somebody who just like has the stuff together. But she can say things before I say things. So I understand why she can feel special. I'm so thankful that I'm not her. I can never be like, oh, why me, God? Why am I going through this? When I know this is happening to men, women, and children all around the world. You heard these men say, they take people from all culture, all gender, all races, and figure out how to break them down. And use the same tactics and tweak around things they need to tweak around. So I know why me. They need test subjects. Just like the reason why they're doing that to a child. The same reason they're doing that to this woman. I have the answer for that. But I'm thankful to God that I could have been her. I could have been fragile and weak. And be like, oh, this is my opportunity to feel special. Let me say something. So to all my target individuals, stay strong. Man, I know my organs are doing so bad. This morning, I truly felt like I was like, I know things were like going so bad there. I could feel my literally organs just failing. And I was getting ready for it. I was like slowly dozing off. And I could feel like, gosh. Because I know they do things to my body. Sometimes they even repair where they destroy themselves. I'm truly a guinea pig. In the sense that they are using my body, my mind, to manipulate it in different ways. And see my reaction. But I gotta stay strong till the end. Because I need to do my part for these people to get theirs. They say they're going to do their worst. Okay, do your worst. So you should expect the worst coming back to you. Because when you've done this worst, so you're saying you're going to do, be expecting something bad coming to you. It's only fair. You did your worst. And you know what you're involved in. You can't be out here saying we're doing it for this and that. We are here torturing women. Rape is such a common tactic that this man literally said these things here. This is not me making this up.
Already being used.
Slow motion.
To the victims, the PIs, one of the worst breakdowns, and it's pretty common. I think I can
purposely put down slow motion so it's not rewired and countered.
And so simulated orgasms and rape is extremely common, and especially violating for women. They complain about that torture breakdown the most.
I mean, how the damaging this, as I'm saying that they're making me scratch, because at one point you say rape is extremely common, especially with women. They complain about it the most. When you say rape is, they're like rapper is. They try to rewind my brain to make it sound like you said that. To try to be like, you're a raper. I was like, listen to what you're involved in. What more can I say? That you're literally involved in a program where rape is such a extreme common things that women complain it the most. This is what you're part of. They talk about we're gonna do you even worse. Like, oh my gosh, you're gonna be extremely raped, because these men just say rape is extremely common, especially with women. They complain about it the most. I'd rather be extremely raped. I don't want to be extremely raped, but I'd rather be extremely raped than be involved in a program where rape is extremely common, especially with women. They complain about it the most. So, I would die in hell. And I have to say thank you, God, for being able to see things for what they are. Even though I don't experience them the way I should, naturally, organically experience things anymore. But I know, even though I'm not myself anymore, even speaking is getting tough, that I get to see things for what they are. God, give me strength. Give me strength to when they do their worst, before they get their worst. Thank you, God. But to all my target individual, do not identify with this manipulation. This Kia false memories, and another false memory out of them. Who knows how many. And more are coming. It's going to be bad. But give me strength. And to all my target individuals, stay strong. Do not identify. They are breaking you down. And that's not because you did anything. They need human subjects from all races, all gender. They just will destroy you, because this is how this technology gets this better. Now, whatever ways they try to make themselves believe there's something else, to see them for what they're involved in. For me, they have this facade, a psyop of like a bunch of... Stay strong, target individual.